So I've been doing a lot of health stuff, right? And it's pretty remarkable what I've been able to do in the past week, just 1 week. I've been able to figure out a lot of stuff when it comes to health and supplementation. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, for a very long time. I've been a scientist forever. So, I'm gonna just go ahead and start giving out health tips to avoid the doctors. One thing I don't do is go to doctors. All right. Never really had no problem, no infections, anything like that. Never really been sick. One of the reasons I've never been sick, I would imagine, is because of my belief system. So what I notice going to doctors, and what I notice about going to doctors is they try to convince you of something, right? Since they're doctors, they know about the placebo effect. So if you tell somebody something, you can frighten them into actually, they have things like that. It's called a hypochondriac. Whereas the hypochondriac, they think they're sick, but you run the test and everything, and there's nothing wrong with them. Yet their body responds to their thought as if they're sick. Their thought is that powerful to make them feel like they're sick. So that there is true. My point is, if you went to a doctor, and this might only be for people who are in a lower class system, right? If you got money, it's a different story. If you live in Beverly Hills, you're a movie star, it's probably a different story. They're going to tell you, something different. But nonetheless, the idea is still always revolving around money. We need to get money from you. So the doctors always try to convince you. So I've been put in a situation to where everybody has a niche, right? And the niche that they put me in, or I put myself in, is deep, is spiritual, everything. I'm into everything, spiritual, what's going on in the world, biology, physiology, health, whatever. But fitness, on this standpoint, I'll just say health, because I've studied a lot of this stuff these past few years, being isolated. So where am I getting at with this? Excuse me. So doctors try to convince you, and they know that if let's say some number on the test showed up wrong, and I'm saying this in a lower class environment more than likely, because I ain't got no money, I don't got no high level insurance or anything like that. So, and then I have a doctor friend. I have a friend of mine who's a doctor, head doctor. He actually teaches nurses and stuff. So he's a head doctor that don't even doctor no more. He just teach head nurses and practitioners. So he even told me about that. The standard economic standard of care, which basically means that depending on where you're located and your race, they'll classify the same condition. So if you came in there and your stomach was messed up, and you was a white person in Beverly Hills, and you had money, let's just say, or you was a black person in Beverly Hills and you had money. So it's just mainly about class, and mainly about class, not necessarily race. But the race, they'll give you different classifications. So if you came in with a dysfunctional gut, maybe you just was eating wrong. If you were rich in a certain area and white, they'll probably tell you, hey, just clean your stomach out, you be good. But they might tell that black person, oh, you got high blood pressure, you have diabetes, or whatever it might be that a black person gets that a white person doesn't get. All right. So now, if you go to a doctor and let's say there's a lump and they find a lump, right? And this is probably for a lower class person. So if you go into the doctor and they see a lump up under your breast, and you're in a low class environment, you ain't got no money. This is a hospital, privately funded hospital, no less. So their goal is to make money. You got insurance, you got all type of stuff. They can charge that insurance a yin yang amount of money if we tell them you got cancer and we put you on this chemotherapy. Now, if you already got money and you're in a affluent area, then that's no problem. Here's your money. So they're going to tell you the real deal. They don't have to extrapolate money out of you because it is a money system. So that's understandable. So now, let me turn this off. So now, that right there, I'm listening to, it's a doctor by the name of Dr. Lowe. And she's talking about vitamin C right now. So again, what I'm saying about the doctors, if the doctors were to tell you, hey, we found this something on the biopsy, and we don't know how far this is going. So what we want you to do, Miss Johnson, is go home, relax, don't worry about anything. Maybe take a sip of wine, take the load off. You're going to be fine. They could be lying to her. She could have a hell of a tumor on her fucking biopsy. They could be lying to her. But it's reassuring in her soul and her mind and her consciousness that she'll be fine. Because here you got the doctor telling her that she'll be fine. Even though as soon as she walked out the building, and I'm just giving an extreme example, even though when she walks out the building, they like, oh shoot, she about to die in 2 days. Because this damn thing is enormous. But, so let's just encourage her. More than likely, that woman would come back without no tumor no more, however long it might take. 2 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. Ba- Basically, just off of the encouragement and the trust in the doctors that they would heal her and she will be all right. Or even if she didn't have no bigger tumor like that and it was just they don't know for sure and they like, yo, we seeing this, but just go home, relax, take a sip of wine, smoke a joint, relax is the main key here. Because as doctors, they would know. I'm not a doctor, but I study this stuff. I've worked with doctors from Chapel Hill doing research and development, so I understand doctors. I'm on their level, even though I never went to school for none of this stuff. In fact, I never graduated high school. I stopped going because I felt they wasn't teaching me anything. And so here it is. I'm telling you that I'm on research and development teams with doctors from Chapel Hill. That's like the top of the top when it comes to medical stuff in America. Obviously, there's other schools and everything. So I'm just saying that I know I've been around doctors, so I understand how they operate. So if they were to just tell you again that you're okay, you'll more than likely be okay, even if it's just a placebo effect, which almost everything is. Now, um, for instance, if they tell you you have high blood pressure, okay, that can just be a state of chronic stress. Let me say that again. And this is obviously for, again, this is the race part of it. So this is for black people mainly, because black people, they say, got high blood pressure. Now, it, again, speaking with my doctor friend, I'm not a doctor, but I study this stuff. But speaking with my doctor friend, When you get high blood pressure and they say, oh, your high blood pressure, oh, you about to die, that could be an indicator that you might have a heart attack or something like that, right? So that's why they urge you to, figure out a way to lower it. So in some instances, this might be serious, okay? But you have to add in the fact that it's a stressor, which can get your blood pressure high. What do I mean by that? If I went to check my blood pressure after I just came from a gym session, it would be high because I'm stressed out. I just worked my body out. My blood pressure would be high. If I smoke cigarettes, if if I go into the doctor and I get my blood pressure ran, and I go in there and I did a meditation, let's just say a 5 minute meditation before I went in there, right? 5 minute meditation, I relax, my body is relaxed, and I go into the doctor. My blood pressure readings would show low. Now, if I went outside right after that blood pressure, smoked a cigarette, and went back in there, my blood pressure would be high 5 minutes later just from smoking a cigarette. Now, here's even on another level. And that's just, again, so let's just say you're chronically stressed out. Most black people, not most of them, a lot of them, based on genetics, the slavery shit. So we're chronically probably going to have high blood pressure. So another thing is, if you go into a doctor's office, or if they're running the blood pressure test, and you cross your feet and don't show them, like, you know what I'm saying, you sit up and you cross your feet as they're doing the test, you know what'll happen? Your readings will be high just from crossing your feet, which then means that this blood pressure reading is not all as crazy cracked up as meant to be. Now, here's the thing, and I'm just speaking on the blood pressure because I'm into this stuff. And you can throw some stuff out there, but it's mainly because your kidneys. So when they do tell you got high blood pressure, they'll give you a few different options. You got a calcium blocker, and then you have a diuretic. So what is this telling you? Pay attention, man. What is this telling you? The calcium blocker. You know what a calcium blocker is? You know what the best one you can get from Walmart? Magnesium. Magnesium. Now, when it comes to the diuretic portion, if you're in a high stress state, right? Like, let's say a black person, or it's just anybody that's poor in a lower class environment, you're going to be stressed out, which is why they got liquor stores on every corner, because they know you stressed out. You're poor, so you're going to drink. And if you don't drink, you're going to be overly sexual. And if you're not overly sexual, you're going to go ahead and do drugs because you're poor. And they know that. Not everybody that's poor, obviously. Some people can feel this intuitively and move away from that mentally. But not everybody can, which again is why it's a liquor store on every corner in the hood in a poor area. Which then would say most everybody going in there, if you black, you got high blood pressure. It, it, so on and so forth. The list goes on. So when it comes to the diuretic, that goes towards your kidneys, right? So what does a diuretic do? It helps you urinate, basically. So what does that mean if you got high blood pressure? That means that for some reason you're not able to urinate functionally. What does that mean? How does the kidneys process whatever they need to process and then excrete it? Two things are needed for that to take place. Not a diuretic, because a diuretic is like the end result of what you should be doing regardless, which is what I'm about to tell you. It's really simple. Drink water, drink more water, all right? But drinking more water doesn't necessarily um, get the kidneys to pump the water out. The kidneys need two things in order for or I guess a complementary thing, in order for it to push out the water without a diuretic. A diuretic, again, is the end resort if your body isn't functioning, which you'll take a diuretic, which again, you don't even need to take the pills. You're just going to get yourself a regular diuretic, which is dandelion root. It's real simple. Go get a dandelion root tea. Here's another thing about taking vitamins and root teas and herbs and stuff like that. There's not necessarily a toxicity level. Your body will just excrete it out. There's not a toxicity level per se. As long as, so what you do with the kidneys in that particular function, this. So I already gave you the magnesium. Don't take my word for it. Try it. And I don't want to be telling people no free shit. I've seen them kill people. I've seen them blacklist people. I'm already blacklisted. I'm already in a situation where I don't got no money. I could put this information out there in a way where I can monetize it, but it's dire for me to at the very least get this shit out of my head to help somebody else that might be in need of this. Poor people, black people, homeless people, targeted people, whatever. People that got these ailments. So, in order for the kidneys to actually pump the water and filter itself, it needs salt. Okay, so to make it simpler, electrolytes. So when they tell you, oh, you can't have a high salt diet, they're telling it to you in the wrong way. Because in order for your kidneys to pump out fluid, you need electrolytes, potassium, magnesium, and sodium. I think it's sodium, but it's three of them. Potassium, magnesium, mainly the main ones. Um, so if you got those three in a moderate amount. So I told a friend this. This is all you need to do. Get you some magnesium, and in the morning, when you wake up, you have to first put your mind to um, peeing. So I suggested to have some water running. Turn on the little, or get one of the things. So she had gotten one of those Japanese fountain things. That just drop the water all night. That way, when she wakes up in the morning, her body is already geared toward peeing. Also told her to keep a glass of water next to her bed. So when she wakes up, immediately the first thing she does is take a sip of water. Now, on top of the sip of water, like I said, in order for your kidneys to actually function and process the water, it needs electrolytes. What do? So I told her on top of the glass of water next to her bed, have a little thing of a Himalayan pink salt. And you just put a little sprinkle, a pinch. All you need is a pinch of the salt. That way it'll get your kidneys to say, oh, we need to function. And we have the electrolytes needed to do so. This is the first thing you do in the morning. And that's just for the kidneys. So that's to get that out there. And I'm only throwing that out there because, again, what I'm trying to do is go ahead and put all of this health information stuff that I've known and I've been able to research and find out about, being that I worked around these doctors. coming from a point of not having any clinical degrees or anything like that. So I'm coming from this learning, from my experience working at these places, from a layman's point of view, because I don't have any degrees or certifications or anything. But the stuff that I knew even then, this was like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 7 and 10 years, 7 to 10 years ago, when I was doing all of this biology, physiology, research and development, lab work, working with these doctors. And so coming from a layman's point of view, which is to say I didn't graduate high school, and then being able to see their process of how they operate, their process and how they operate is strictly from what they were indoctrinated with, which is also to say that they're not going to lose their jobs by pulling a Trudeau or whoever be putting out information that is counterintuitive or counter to the pharmaceutical industries, because they'll blackball you. They'll put you in a situation like where I'm at. And that's not to say that I'm an end all be all. I don't know every goddamn thing. I don't know everything. Who does? Nobody knows everything, man. That's retarded. But coming from a standpoint of, again, a layman's point of view, being that I've worked in these situations, and again, these doctors ain't trying to be where I'm at. You make a couple hundred, like my doctor friend. He ain't about to be where I'm at and tell somebody you can hear you don't need this calcium blocker from the pharmaceutical company. That's what pays this nigga for his vacation to Turks and Caicos, huh? So why would you give that up? Knowing this is the thing. Why would you give that up to be in a situation like I'm in, where you ain't got no money? They blackballed you. They make you look like a fool and make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about. So even to that extent, I don't look at my videos. It be certain situations to where I feel a certain way, which probably goes back to some of Sabrina Wallace stuff she be talking about with the bioelectric field, which I can get into with that too, because your brain, your body is a electromagnetic field in and of itself. But we'll get into that on another channel, or another video or something. But where was I getting with that? Is like your nervous system. I don't know where I was getting with that, but um, nonetheless, oh, the discredation. So that's one help tip when it comes to, again, high blood pressure. When they tell you this, and then on top of that, so it's your electrolyte balance. All right. I'm gonna get into one other thing, and then I'm gonna break it up so I can have more content, because I'm in a situation, and this is my niche, I guess. So let me go ahead and spill the beans on these companies. And I would be like, you know what? Let me be like these other people who were blackballed, let's just say. But I don't have no money. They put me in a situation like this. They tried to say this and that or the other. This system put me in this situation. And so for me to think in my head, hey, let me not put this information out there, is asinine. So I guess what I was saying about my other videos is it's in situations to where I look incoherent and I don't sound coherent, and I sound like I'm rambling and I'm all over the place, which I'll attest to that. I haven't looked at the videos because I already know that. I'm sure they look extremely incoherent. Something's wrong. Oh, 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 oh. But a lot of the stuff I went through, I've experienced. But now I'm in a position to where I'm coherent now. I've done a particular protocol to where it got rid of parasites, it got rid of bacteria, it got my immune system functioning in an optimal way. And this goes totally against what they would tell me if I were to go to a doctor. Because obviously they not, you can't get in the way of the status quo like that. So, oh man, this is crazy. It's really crazy. It's really crazy because I got some wild stories, and these stories are going to be coherent. I'm not going to be talking about no. I might bring up targeted and all that. That might pop up, but now I'm in the situation that I'm in, and I'm coherent now. I don't think I want to push it in that type of direction because what's real is real, and what's happening is happening. So, I want to keep it more on the health tip, to where that way people that may have been going through an experience like this, where they, I mean, it's so serious. It's people where I've put extremely insane comments on their pages. Sabrina Wallace, Hidden America, Amuraka, and I'm going through these experiences of these channels, which are different channels, but I can correlate them to my experience in general. Benedictina Truth, Fleur Burn, Rod Hayes. It's a lot of them. Red pill, blue pill. I'm in those same circles, but they're all different circles. So I've left insane comments, incoherent sounding ones, oh, so on and so forth. But now here it is where I'm at. And again, I've done something this past week to where you probably can't see it here, but I've always had like messed up teeth. Like they were always straight and everything, right? But um, I had periodontal disease, and I never did nothing about it. They told me I had to they'll give me some antibiotics. So the top of my gum line was always brown. So that's the gum disease. Whatever I did this past week, and I'm gonna explain this because it's mind blowing. Whatever I did this past week, all of a sudden my gums are like pink. I mean, like that means that it's infection cleared. Nothing like that. Off of just one little thing I did. Well, it's a sequence of things I did, and the sequence of things I did was all natural. All natural. I did it for a week. No discomfort, anything like that, necessarily. But I did it for about a week. The first couple of days, it's mucus. So this goes into some Dr. Sebi, because Dr. Sebi always said that mucus, 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 and he's right. It stuff gets trapped in you got mucus lining throughout your whole body, and its job is to trap pathogens and then excrete it. But over the span of time, depending on your circumstances, especially if you're poor, you don't have good food, smoke cigarettes, do drugs, drink liquor, stressed out environment, um, your pathogenic load in regards to your mucosal lining is completely ravaged. So when I started this little protocol I did, and it's real simple, all of a sudden mucus just coming out, coming out, coming out, coming out, mucus, mucus, mucus. I'm like, what the heck is this? Just strings of mucus. The next day, it was like colonies. So doing knowing what I know, I've worked in this field. It was colonies, like bacterial. You could see bacterial colonies. I mean, flooded out of my system. So in 2 days, I cleared mucosal lining, mucosal lining, which indicates that your mucosal layer and barrier is repurposing itself and regrowing new mucus, so it's getting rid of the old. And again, the next day, I'm seeing all of these colonies. It's just like look like clumps of colonies, bacteria. Weird. The third day and every subsequent day after that, I only did this for a week. The third day and every subsequent day after that, no mucus, no weird body feeling. My skin is glowing. My gums cleared. My gut dysbiosis I had is gone. Completely gone. No candida. No nothing like that. It completely went away. Everything. My skin is cleared up. I have blemishes on my skin. Instantly disappeared. Psoriasis on my skin. Instantly disappeared. Instantly gone. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, you go to the doctor and they'll tell you all of this type of stuff. I did a little bit of research, a tiny bit of research. And the research that I was doing wasn't even geared towards the result that I got. So there's a number being ran on everybody, and it starts with your body and your mind, the belief system. So if I can convince you, you're sick. So the few times I'm gonna finish it off of this, the few times that I did go to the doctor, I had an infection. Let's say when I was younger, I had a few of them when I was older. Mainly the same ones. Usually, always I would get a throat infection or something with my sinuses or something with my skin. So the first time I had any real serious issue, it was a sinus problem. My sinuses were going crazy for like 3, 4, 5 months, like crazy. I couldn't figure out why. So this might be simple. So I'm just throwing this out there. If anybody out there ever has this ailment, this is simple to get rid of. But it's like basic. The point of this is to get to the idea of the doctors. So this is Kaiser Permanente. Dr. Vijay Supta. You know, obviously this dude went to school just like my friend. My friend did his whole the way he explained it, basically 20 years to get where he's at, to where he can sit around, go to Turks and Caicos, and teach other doctors and other nurse practitioners. So 20 years. I'm looking at this doctor dude, VJ Simte Sumta, and this is before I knew any, or before I knew what I know now. But this was let's say like 15 years ago. So I got this sinus problem. Okay, they do the little X-rays, they run it, boom, they show my sinus cavity. I didn't know that it runs throughout your whole brain, but so he shows it to me. He's like, yeah, your sinus cavity is infected. It's all crazy stuff. So he's like, this is what he tells me. He's like, I'm gonna give you this experimental thing, and come back in a month. You should be all right. As he's telling me this, I'm thinking to myself, experiment. As far as I can tell you, this is something with my nose, sinuses. That would have to have been a million-year-old thing. Everybody since jump of this planet, somebody has had sinus problem. And so I'm thinking as he's telling me this, you're telling me in my mind, I'm saying this, you're telling me, Doc, that after a billion fucking years of human evolution and science progression and all of this, you're going to give me an experiment. I'm thinking to myself, fucking experiment, give me I'm trying to get rid of this shit, man. But he's a doctor, 20 years in. So let me go along with it. I'll take the pills because I don't know anything else at this point. That's why I'm at the doctor. But again, at this time, I studied and stuff still too. And mind you, the internet was different back then. You can get non-biased information. You can get the real deal information without nobody saying that's wrong. That's not the right information. So, um, so the other thing he told me right after he tell me about the experimental pills he gonna give me is, oh, another thing you do is make sure you get a lot of humidity. So take warm showers, maybe get a steam thing and inhale the steam and that'll help. I'm thinking to myself, you're going to mix in this pharmaceutical experiment and then tell me something concrete naturally at the same time in the same sentence. I'm like, that don't make sense. Nonetheless, I go home and I take the medicine for a whole month. And I'm doing the steam thing. Nothing's happening. So now I'm like, okay, experiment time. Let me go back to this doctor and get tripped out on him and be like, look, you asshole. Fuck your experiment. Give me the real deal. So let me just keep it, polite. Hey, doctor, it didn't work. Zuma Luma Lab didn't work. So stop with the games. I need something to get rid of this. It's not working. You know what he says to me? Well, we have another experiment. You know what, doc? As soon as the experiment came out his mouth, I looked at him like he was crazy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with, you just gave me an experiment. I'm done with experiments. Just give me the fix. Obviously, that wasn't possible. So I left. So this is for anybody that has any kind of sinus issue. Period. This is what I did. I went home, did some research. Came across the research I came across was um, peppermint oil, right? Some peppermint oil and some oregano leaf oil. So this is for anybody that has any type of respiratory issue. Period. Whatever respiratory issue you might have, this might be work best in the wintertime. But if anybody has a respiratory issue or any kind of sinus issue, this is what you do. You get some peppermint oil and you put it in a boiling pot of water. So you on the stove, you get the peppermint oil, or you get a boiling pot of water, put it on the stove, and then you put a couple of drops of peppermint oil, pure peppermint oil. Probably cost you $4. So here it is. I'm going to the doctor and getting these experimental medications, whether experimental or otherwise. Okay, but it costs. That one medication probably and to go and see the doctor visit was probably $1,000, $2,000 just to get the MRIs and the test done was probably like $2,500 fucking dollars charged to the insurance, which I have whoever I had to pay into. Now I went home and got $4 bottle of peppermint oil that probably lasted for a long time. You didn't need it that much. You put it in the pot of boiling water, and you go over and you inhale it. That gets throughout your whole cavity system. All right. The next thing I did was, after you inhale it, you keep it going. Let that let that aroma penetrate the entire house. A couple of drops of peppermint oil in boiling water is extremely strong, so you'll smell it throughout the entire house. It's powerful. It's all natural. It only costs $4. The other thing I got was oregano leaf oil. It came in like a little dropper thing. Pure oregano leaf oil. Not no pills, nothing like that. So what I did was I got a Q-tip and I put the oregano oil on the Q-tip. And then you just rub the Q-tip around your nose. You don't put it in your nose because it has caversol, I believe. I would have to look at it to spell it. But it's caversol, I think, is the ingredient that's in it, the substrate that's in it that does this. Caversorol, I believe it's called. So what you do is so it's very powerful. It'll burn you. So you put it around the tip of your nose. That's all you do. It's so weird. And then you go ahead and inhale a little bit more. Just doing that, just putting it around the tip of your nose, it will burn. So just go along with the burn. When it burns, you know it's working. So keep it on the tip, and you'll notice that a couple of days later, that infection will be gone. Anything in your respiratory system, infection, it will be gone. So I gave you a couple of tips there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get into the protocol later, because it's a couple of steps on the protocol that I did to get rid of the mucus. to enhance my natural killer cells, to enhance my T cells, my Tregs, my cytochrome C oxidation, my antioxidant levels, my glutathione levels. I mean, I figured out a way to ramp this stuff up to where your body simply gets rid of whatever's fucking with it. And it's weird when I'm talking to my doctor friend, he knows this. Maybe not to the extent of, he knows it. If I put it into the right framework, he'll know this. So I guess I'm gonna leave it at that. This doctor system is a complete scam. It's a complete scam. Your body is connected. It's systemic. One thing is fucked up. That means there's usually a complementary thing that's fucked up. Usually when people that got heart problems, congestive heart problems and shit like that, liver has something to do with their liver. Stress, obviously, too. I got a friend of mine that I put on this. I got two friends. So anybody out there that got these two type of issues, I got two friends that I put on this protocol. That one of them has psoriasis. Within about a month, that psoriasis is gone, and his was like scaly and flaky, all on his arms. His whole entire arms is all psoriasis. He take creams, medicine from the doctor, and all type of shit. I gave him this damn protocol. That shit went away in about a month. I got another friend of mine. I did something a little bit different for her, the same thing, because the protocols is basically the same. The idea is there's no nutrients in the food